I'm starting now. I'm starting now.
Oh, you want to turn it down now?
Yeah, put it on 5. Hello, hello, everyone. I had to come on here and do a live because I saw something that happened, and I saw it being shared on social media. And usually I'm the type of person, if someone is not talking to me, I try not to put my input into stuff. But I had to come on here and do this live because of what's happening now in the world and all the laws that are being implemented. I had to come on here and do this live. You can continue talking. I had to come on here and do this live. 1 minute, let me share. Because of what's happening in the world, not only in the nation, but in the whole entire world, I had to come on here and do this live about transgender in the medical field. Did you turn it down so far? Okay. Put a timer for 30 minutes so I can't come before it. Yeah, sorry for all the interruptions. I'm cooking curry chicken at the same time. Multitasking here, multitasking. Okay, so so I had to come on here and do this live because of what's happening in the legal system that affects all of us. And me, as a person that's been in the medical field for over 13 years, I have to say something about this. So first off, let me read the definition of the difference between gender and sex. And I encourage everyone to comment on this, put in your input as I start talking. I'm going to look back and forth because I have another device and another device in front of me. So I'm doing YouTube, Facebook, so there's a whole lot going on, and I'm cooking. So, work with me here. Okay, so I'm reading the definition between sex and gender. And it reads, gender refers to the attitudes, feelings, behaviors that the culture associates with a person's biological sex according to American Psychological Association. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm trying to talk over the kitchen noise. In other words, gender is a social construct and a social identity. So basically it's saying it's the way how the person is brought up or raised. So your gender has to do with how people treat you according to your sex and how you're brought up or raised by whoever is taking care of you. Mother, father, aunt, grandparent, whoever is taking care of you. Okay? And sex is described as the biological sex. I don't know why they use the word that you're defining in the actual definition. I hate when they do that. A person was assigned at birth. And first of all, me being a Christian, first off, that definition is totally off because sex is described biologically, not assigned at birth, but within the womb. Inside the womb. A baby does not have to wait until a person does not have to wait until a baby is born, especially with this technology, for you to be assigned a sex at birth. So I'm coming against that definition, first off. And then, so I went in because I saw a video being shared where a doctor is being reprimanded because he was treating a patient by their sex, meaning their biological makeup. And of course, there are exceptions to the rule. A long time ago, we used to call people that are exceptions to the rule hermaphrodites, but now they want to be called intersex. So now they want to be called intersex. So instead of hermaphrodite, what I got used to calling a person that has both genitalia and the chromosomes can be different than what they appear to look like on the outside, is now called intersex. So in the medical profession, we care about patient safety. Patient safety, we care about the patient as a whole, psychologically, medically, and all the aspects that encompass a person. That includes interaction with family to help encourage healing, or elimination of family to encourage healing, because sometimes, you got no family that you got to stay with them. So as a medical professional, like I said, for over 30 years, we have a problem. The thing that happened was the patient is a male biologically, and the person wants to be classified gender as a female. So we have some issues here. When a medical professional talks about a patient without the patient being around, we have to say what the biological makeup of that patient is. Meaning we have to say what the sex of that patient is. I understand that a lot of patients and people are going through gender identity dysphoria, and they want to be called by a certain gender. And I remember, again, I said gender, basically in a nutshell, is how people raise you according to your sex, and how you're treated according to your sex. And sex is the biological makeup of a person. So we have a issue here when you come with a patient, because sometimes when you talk about a patient, giving report, a doctor talking to another doctor, a doctor in rounds, a doctor talking to a nurse talking to another nurse, and blah, 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 blah. All the interaction that goes on in the medical field. It is very, very important that we say what the person's sex is. Because I've looked at videos of sex change surgery. And it's funny because it's always classified or sex reassignment surgery. The reason why I say sex reassignment surgery is because you are trying to change your biology. There's a reason why I gave the definition at first, because I need you to follow what I'm saying. You are trying to change your biology. And when you're trying to change your biology, because when you come to the medical field, we're not trying to change your feelings when it's an emergency. We are there to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to get you healed, to get you back out and on the road. So we are stepping on a very slippery slope here when we start to create claims and lawsuits against medical professionals, because when a medical professional, we would like to be in a perfect world where no one makes a mistake in their verbiage when they're talking, but we are not in that perfect world. Okay? So when a doctor or talking to a doctor or talking to a nurse, when there's interchange of medical information while giving reports, it is very, very important that we say what the sex of the patient or person is. Because when it's an emergency, because I've only worked acute care. So the person never saw me unless they were sick. I didn't work in any clinics where you just come for regular checkup. No, that's not my area of expertise. That's not my area. It's all acute care. So you got to be sick for you to see me. And it's important that we say your sex. And for you not to take it as if we are trying to deface, tear you down. Because when we give report, because now it's required in the hospitals for us to give report at bedside. It is not required for us to give report at bedside. And when we give report at bedside, we will have to say the sex that you were born with, because it ties into your treatment. Okay, when I went online, before I continue that, when I went online to look up sex reassignment surgery, the funny thing is, they call it gender reassignment surgery. And that is very interesting to me that they call it gender reassignment surgery, because gender, like I said, has to do with how you're raised according to your sex, your biological makeup, and how people treat you and how you interact with people according to your sex. So we have another problem here in definition. When you say gender reassignment surgery, the person is making a biological change to their anatomy. That is not the definition I gave you for gender. This is the definition I gave you for sex. So that's another problem with this whole thing. And as a medical professional for many years, many years now, it is not right to sue a doctor. Hello, everyone. It is not right to sue a doctor because we have to give report at bedside. Doctors are supposed to give report at bedside. Nurses are supposed to give report at bedside. Hello. I haven't seen you in a while. We have to give report at bedside. And it is required for us to say your sex, because it ties into your treatment. I looked up sex reassignment, but it pulled up gender reassignment because, first of all, the whole explanation is wrong. And like I said, I pulled up this to see what they do. And I noticed that in the males, they do not remove the prostate. Listen, as a medical professional, I know people are struggling with gender identity. But when it comes to the medical profession, it is extremely important for us to treat you as your sex. When it comes to lab work, the lab work is based on your biological makeup, your sex. When it comes to treatment, your treatment is based on your biological makeup, your sex. And when these people are starting to sue doctors because doctors are treating them like a male, what they were born as, based on their chromosomes and biological makeup, it is not, yeah, that's mine. It is not fair and it is not smart for you to step over those lines. Because when and if, not if, when a mistake happens in the medical field, I don't want to see no one, I mean no one, coming forward and saying, I cannot believe that they didn't find this, they didn't find that. Why? Because you made a decision that even though you are biologically a male or biologically a female, want to come against the people who are trying to save your life. Remember, I said I've worked in the medical field for many years. I've only done acute care. I've never worked in a clinic at all, except now that I'm supervising clinics. And I don't actually work per se in the clinic like when people do regular health checkups. Like they just want to come in and check their blood pressure. I don't do those. I do emergency care. So you have to be sick to see me. That's my area of expertise. So when you come in, I don't want to see anyone. I should not see anything on the news about a doctor being sued because they're not, or a nurse being sued because they did not find a certain thing, because a person that feels a certain way. I understand and I empathize with the fact that you are having gender dysphoria, that you are dealing with an issue of a feeling that you're having. But when it comes to the medical area, it is imperative that we treat you according to your sex. Because when you get older, I'm talking to males, God forbid you have something wrong with your prostate. I looked at the surgery for male reassignment surgery. I did not see anything about the prostate in that surgery. When you're a female and you have decided to have sexual intercourse through your female organs, but you classify yourself as a male, it is imperative that you tell the doctors that you are a female that feels like a male. Because we have to treat you as a female. I read about a case where a female was having sexual intercourse, biologically a female, having sexual intercourse, of course, through her female organs. And then when they went to the hospital, they classified themselves as a male. And the doctor treated them as a male, only to find out that the female was pregnant, and then there was complications. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm saying this out of love, and I know people will say that this has nothing to do with you. Why do you care? I'm in the medical field, and I'm saying this for a reason. We have to make sure, especially in acute care emergency situations, We have to make sure we treat you and give you a plan, a medical plan, hopefully for you to get better and leave the hospital based on your sex. Listen, this is so important. I was not going to make this video, but it was something in my spirit that I had to come and make this video. Because, no. I understand that there are gender identity disorders going around. But once you cross it into the medical field, you are opening a door that you do not want open. There will be a lot of unnecessary medical mishaps and unnecessary medical death and complications. Listen, males and females biologically have a lot of differences. All the way down to the bone structure. All the way down to the stem cells inside the bones. Those long bones. Listen, I'm going to say this over again. I have been working in the medical field for many, many years. Acute care, emergency. A person does not see me unless you are sick. Okay? And when I saw that this doctor was going through problems because the patient classified themselves as a male when they were actually a female and using their female genitalia to have sexual intercourse, but appears to look like a male on the outside, the doctor did not take the proper treatment because of what the patient said. And found out that the baby died and there were complications. Listen, gender has to do with how a person is raised according to their sex, how they interact with people according to their sex, and how people treat them according to their sex. Sex is a biological makeup. It goes all the way down to the mitochondria of the body. It goes all the way down to the stem cells. It goes deep. It is far more deeper than just a penis or a vagina. And it is so important that we understand this. The bone structure, makeup, is based on your biological sex, your chromosome. How the cells work is based on this. Please, I'm saying this out of love. Do not go inside of these emergency places. If you're a person dealing with gender dysphoria, gender identity dysphoria, if you are a person that's dealing with any of these things, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. Because this is so important and people are taking it like it's a game. I understand that people deal with issues and they have feelings that goes on inside of them. But it is imperative that when you go to the hospital, when you go to your doctor, please tell the doctor what your biological sex is, because your treatment is based on that. Like I said, lab work differs from male and female. The amount of blood that circulates the body in an average male or female differs. The way how the kidneys work in a male and female differs. It is important. It is all the way down to those cells inside of your bones that help with healing. It is so important. If I'm wrong, I'm telling you, let me know. But I'm telling you, I've been in the medical field for over 30 years and I have experience. It is so important. Do not try to deceive the people who are trying to help you to get better, to live another day when you go in the hospital. When I watch the surgery for male to female reassignment, hopefully you guys can hear me because I'm cooking at the same time, and I have another camera up for YouTube. But it is so imperative, and I don't know why this has come and crossed this line that people would rather tell a doctor how they feel according to gender rather than telling the doctor and nurses their sex. If you want to live, and I'm assuming you do because you're in the hospital to get treatment, please tell the doctors the truth because it will let them know a lot of information. It will let them know a lot of information. For example, I'm going to give you a personal um, example with me. Um, with me, when I started my period or my menstrual cycle or my menses, whatever word that you're familiar with, when I started my period when I was 11 years old, I started bleeding very, very, very heavy. And I'm 40 now. So I've been bleeding heavy for a long, long, long time. That have then affected my red blood cells inside of my body. Now, if I went to the hospital and I make myself to look like a male and everything, and I did the mastectomy, meaning cut off the breasts and everything, do all that stuff like that, and I go for treatment because my numbers are usually low. When the doctor looks at my lab work, he's going to know that something is wrong. And he's going to take a treatment that's not necessary because I'm telling him that I'm a male. Because at first, they told us that they wanted to be called transgender male, meaning you were born a female and classify yourself as a male, or transgender female, you were born a male and classify yourself as a female. Now they want to cut off the word transgender, and they just want to say male or female. You're walking down a slippery slope. I'm telling you. I'm putting this warning out right now. You are walking down a slippery, very slippery slope with that, because the doctor in my case would take a different treatment than he would, knowing that I was born a female with heavy bleeding for over many, many years since I was 11 years old. That affected the way how my red blood cells, the size of my red blood cells, that affected the amount of blood that's circulating in my body. It would be a whole totally different treatment. But the fact that he knows that I am an actual female that have a history of heavy menses or periods or menstrual cycles, he won't be as aggressive, not saying that I'm less important, but he knows that this treatment requires this, this, and this, rather than if I told him I was a man, just like that, just a man, That would be a whole totally different treatment. I, as a medical professional, we care about the whole compass of the person's total being. In emergency care, we want to keep you alive. That's first and foremost. Safety, safety, safety. Safety, safe, I'm going to say it. Safety, safety. We want you to stay alive. That's what we want. Please do not open this door. Start suing people in the medical field because they're treating you like your biological sex. Because when, I said if, but there's no if, it's a when. When medical issues come up, I should not see not one person suing a medical professional. I'm giving you guys this warning right now. It is so important, and I'm saying it in love because the treatment is different, and we want you to stay alive. No matter what you're going through, no matter what issues, no matter how you're feeling, if you came to the emergency room, you are planning to stay alive, and we want you to stay alive. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Sharon Perry of YourWorthItFoundation.org. We're a ministry, faith-based Christian, and affordable housing consultant. And of course, I'm also a registered nurse and a mom. So I'm hoping that you guys share this because you might know someone that's going through gender dysphoria or gender identity crisis, and it is important. We want all of you guys to stay alive. People that just not going through gender identity crisis and people that are going through gender identity crisis. It is so important. Be blessed, everyone, and have a great day. So how does that